So I'm Adam Kalsey from Voxeo. Tropo is a product of ours, and I do developer outreach and developer marketing, a little product management, and a little bit of everything for Tropo. And to talk to you a little bit about how we built Tropo and kind of the concepts that went into it. So, first of all, what Tropo is we make it easy for developers to build apps that run over the telephony systems using technologies that are familiar to web developers and a web development audience. PHP and Ruby, and you can build apps using the same concepts that you use to build a website. Basically, we're an API for the phone system. We give you a dozen or so different things that you can do, things that you can make Tropo do: call, answer, transfer, things to control calls, things to control media, say things, play audio, ask questions, drop people into conference, and that sort of stuff. And we do it using an API that allows people to write things directly in their language. So in Ruby, first-class functions right there that run a telephony app. And we do this speech recognition, 36 countries, 9 languages, 36 countries. We've got transcription. We've got all kinds of great stuff in there, and a single API that runs on voice, SMS, or IM. So that code right there will respond over voice. It'll respond over SMS. It'll respond over IM with no changes required by the developer. So how did we build Tropo? The underlying platform underneath Tropo is all built in Java, and using Java APIs and SIP and XMPP and a variety of different communications APIs. And we use the JVM to allow you to run all of these languages. So you take your code and you run your PHP code up on our servers in our cloud. We execute it, connect it to the phone system, and we take your PHP and we run it on Quercus, which is a JVM implementation of PHP, or JRuby, which is a JVM implementation of Ruby. Python using Jython, which is Python on Java. That way we're able to access the same Java API that we built the platform on using these shims, basically. And it's a small bit of code that takes what you've written in your web language of choice and converts it to our underlying API for you. So, for instance, here we've got the PHP code for a call. Calls a telephone number, tells it where to send a recording, what format we want the recording in. That's written in PHP. Then here we've got the PHP Java code that bridges this call through the Java objects and the underlying Java API to actually build that connection and build that call out. Tropo is running on top of Voxeo's Prism app server and Prophecy Media server. And it's running on this. It's the same product and same platform that's running Fortune 500 companies and huge products. And so we've taken all of that power and made it available to the average web developer. You can actually run this on any, using this Moho layer in the center, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You can run Tropo and run these shims on any Java communications, any SIP platform that runs Java. So JSR 289, JSR 309, 2 different Java standards for running SIP. If you can run those on an app server, you can run Tropo running right on top of it. So MobaSense, SailFin, those types of app servers can run this, and of course our own Prism app server. So it kind of turns out that building SIP applications in Java is pretty complex and pretty hard. There's a lot of different APIs. You've got a different API for call control, a different API for media control. You got to write with one frame of mind on one thing, one frame of mind on another thing. Then you throw XMPP in there, and it gets even more complicated. So Moho is a framework that we've developed that abstracts away these various communications APIs and gives you a single API. So you say connect, and it connects, whether it's XMPP or whether it's voice or SIP or whatever sort of protocol that you're connecting to. And Moho is an open source platform. We released it last month as an open source project. It'll run on any SIP servlet container. So it'll run on Prism, our own app server. It'll run on MobaSense. It'll run on SailFin. You can install this. You can write your Java communications apps on top of it. We've written the Tropo API on top of it. The Tropo API is also downloadable open source. You can take that, run that in your own platform. You don't have to run it in our cloud if you don't want to. You can run it anywhere you'd like. And in Moho, a lot of common telephony concepts are baked right in. They're built right into the system. So conferencing. You don't have to build conferencing. It's already there. All the base concepts that you need for conferencing are right there as objects that you can work with. Call queuing, muting and unmuting, answering machine detection, mixing audio, call recording, transcription, all those types of things are baked right into Moho, so you can write code directly to the Java API that does that. So I'll give you a quick little demo of something that Tropo can do. You guys are welcome to do this yourself. You can send a call or an SMS to that phone number. If you've got an XMPP client, Google Talk, you can send an IM to that address. And it's a local search demo. So what's going to happen is it's going to ask you what zip code you're in. You're going to tell it. It's going to ask you what you're looking for. Give it the name of the type of some sort of restaurant: pizza, coffee, bars, beer, Japanese, whatever you'd like to do. The whole thing is using Yahoo Local's backend. So when you do a search, it connects to the Yahoo Local's backend, pulls the data in, and displays it. It's about 160 lines of PHP code, including the parts that go out to the Yahoo API, suck in the data, format it. You get a different response if you're over IM, then you get over SMS, then you get over voice. So, and there's also Skype and SIP numbers that are available. You can dial into this thing using Skype. You can dial into it using SIP if you'd like. So let's do a demo real quick.
Hello. What zip code are you calling from?
95608.
What are you looking for in 95608?
Coffee.
Press 1 for Boulevard Coffee Roasting Company. Press 2 for Starbucks. Press 3 for Bellaborica. Press 1. Connecting you to Boulevard Coffee Roasting Company at 91694.
Okay, so I don't actually want to do this connection, so
266.
we'll
Please hold.
hang up before we dial in and connect, because we probably don't want to actually call the coffee company and order coffee from here. But that's 160 lines of PHP code that does that. And then as I'm sitting here, I heard the sound. I got a text message back from the system because I called in using a Skype number that's attached to my mobile phone. So it just sent me a text message with the same phone number and address and everything that's on there. So the basics, behind this, we built this API. We built this as a Java platform and allowing you to run as a cloud service. So you can put your code up there, you can run it. In addition to hosting your code on our servers, we've got a web services API, so you can send JSON back and forth to our servers, run the code on your end, and communicate with our servers remotely. The other thing you can do is take this code and install it on your own system, plug a SIP trunk into it, and go. Any questions?
Your licensing, is it open source?
Okay, so good question. So the cloud platform is absolutely free for developers. Anybody can go along, sign up. We ask you for your name and your email address and a password. It's a really complicated sign up. I think our terms of service is like 3 paragraphs long or something like that. And you could use the whole thing for free as a developer. Once you've finished it and you're ready to go into production, if you, again, want to continue running it in our cloud using our infrastructure and our back end, we've got 7 data centers around the world, 24/7 support, monitoring, and all that kind of stuff. If you want to run it in our infrastructure, you pay just for use. You pay a couple of dollars a month for the phone number, pay a couple of cents a minute for the voice, pay a couple of cents a message for text messaging. IM's free, and you can run it on our cloud. Or download the thing, open source, install it, set up a Java app server, a SIP server, and go from there on your own end. Anything else?
Okay, now we have, thank you, Adam.